husband's surgeon mentioned the word ostomy in the same breath as just in case, and then moved on. We didn't move on for weeks. Hi, I'm Kate, and today we're talking about the ostomy conversation that happens before you're ready for it. Because whether it's a real possibility or a distant one, the moment that word lands in the room, everything changes, and you deserve more than 5 minutes to sit with it. So the first time the surgeon said ostomy to us, we were in the room being told that my husband needed to have surgery as soon as possible. They wanted to admit him the next day, give him a couple of weeks on TPN to build his strength up, and then go in and operate. After that, the doctor said, we'll possibly do an ostomy. There was no mention of tests temporary or permanent. It was just that was a possibility. So in the car ride home, we didn't really mention any of it. We just both sat in silence, I think shocked. And the question I kept turning over in my mind, well, having that, what does it actually change about a person's life? So by the third surgery, the conversation felt a little bit different because again, they mentioned this might be a possibility. There was no mention of permanent, temporary, anything like that, just that word again. But the conversation felt different because we were better prepared. So here's what I want to offer you today. Not a medical explainer, because your surgical team will absolutely take care of that. And they should be your first call for all information in regards to surgery. But what I want to give you is a framework for the human side of this conversation. The identity questions, the daily life questions, the what does this mean for me questions that surgeons often don't have time to answer and patients often don't know they're allowed to ask. You feel like it's like, get the information, then get out of here. I've got to move on. Research consistently shows that patients who feel prepared before major bowel surgery report significantly better psychological outcomes, not because the surgery changed, but because they walked in with a map to follow afterwards. So initially, I think the most important part to do when you hear that word, ostomy, in the third surgical consult is to name the fear out loud. Most people's first fear about an ostomy isn't medical. It's about identity, visibility, and whether their body will still feel like theirs. My husband actually said he was afraid that I would not find him attractive anymore, and it wasn't what I expected. The other term to understand is temporary versus permanent, loop versus end. Knowing the basic landscape helps you ask the right questions instead of catastrophizing the worst case version. The moment we realized temporary was a real possibility, not just reassurance, it actually changed how we felt. But obviously, if temporary is not being used and it is going to be a permanent thing for you afterwards, then you need to be prepared for that and be ready to have that as part of your life. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that we need to be prepared, have all the information available to us so that the transition to our new normal is simple. So the question to bring to your surgeon, there's 4 or 5 specific questions that change the quality of that pre-op conversation. Most patients never think to ask them because they're actually still in shock. So the life after conversation, that's a really important one. Ostomy nurses, support communities, and practical daily life information exist, and they're extraordinary. But nobody hands you that map in the surgical consult. When my husband first met with someone living well with a stoma, he actually had a big shift in his mindset about it because, like, this person was literally living their best life. You also need to hold the emotional weight alongside the practical. Grief about a potential ostomy is real and valid, and it can sit alongside hope. You don't have to resolve it before you're allowed to feel it. What I've seen in clinic when someone finally says, I'm scared, this makes me less of a person, is absolutely incredible. So my husband is now 20 years fairfully, and what he says when this topic comes up now is totally different than what it was beforehand. He told me he wishes someone had said to him, before that first surgery that it would still be all okay. So, someone watching this right now, is I want you to feel when you close this laptop, it's not fixed, but less alone in the room. So, if you're heading toward this conversation or you've already had it and you're still carrying it, I want you to know that the fear you feel is not weakness, it's love for your own life. Drop your questions in the comments, and please keep working alongside your surgical and GI team. They are your partners in this, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day.